Jalen Hurts leading the Eagles in. At least that was the theory. Jalen Hurts, the quarterback, taking on Matthew Stafford, and that was the big matchup. But they were usurped, upstaged by who? That's our running back, Saquon Barkley. Getting her done, and then some. The ex-Giant Saquon Barkley rumbling and stumbling and bumbling and into the end zone multiple times. But not just your 1 or 2 yard plunge. They don't do that, right? The Eagles, if they get down to the 1 or 2 yard line, they do the tushy-pushy. So instead, you had number 26 in your program, but number 1 in your heart, Saquon Barkley, with a 70-yard touchdown run and a 72-yard touchdown run in the second half, a franchise record, 302 scrimmage yards. He finished with an Eagle rushing yard record, 255 yards rushing. And the Eagles get their 7th consecutive win, 37-20. It was a 6-point game at halftime, and the Eagles literally run away from the Rams in the Sunday night game. Barkley obliterated the Eagle record for rushing yards set by Shady McCoy back in 2013. So he zoomed way past that. McCoy had 217 yards, and Saquon Barkley up to double nickels on the 200 plus the double nickel there. 255 yards rushing. As the Eagles said, good afternoon, good evening, and good night. We're out of here. Have a safe Thanksgiving, because the Eagles stuffing it down the throat of the Rams in that Sunday night game. And this is a game I was debating whether or not to go to. I am going to the Monday night game, and I was like, I don't know. I'm going to go out there on Sunday night. I actually thought the Rams would hang around and have a shot. If you saw the TV show, I was on the side of the Rams. Boy, was that a disaster. So somebody has to answer some questions. Let us discuss the question. What the heck happened? I know Sean McVay's an offensive guru and all that. He doesn't futz around with the defense too much. But when you're the head coach, you have to answer questions. You have to answer questions. So what happened to Sean McVay's team here, that run defense, or the lack there of run defense in this game? So I've got Mexico, bird dogging, and also Atlantic Ocean. And we will combine all of these things together, and we are going to build the pillars of this Maller monologue. So to answer the question, what happened to the run defense? What run defense? There was no run defense. There was zero resistance applied. Zero. There are high school teams that play with more effort than the Rams. Now, the Eagles are so much better. Okay. No, they're not. The Rams played the Lions early in the year, and they went to overtime against the Lions. And the Eagles are not as good as the Lions are. And the Rams got blown off the field. I know, injuries, blah, 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 blah. But this was like an old copy of what the NFL used to produce, the football follies back in the day when they had how not to play football, how not to tackle. Wowzers, right? I mean, it was basic things here. And this game, imagine, if you will, being somewhere in Mexico, and you're at a bullfight there, and they bring out extra matadors. Ole, ole, ole. That was it. I mean, it was so bad. Some of the runs that Barkley had, he didn't even get touched. But there were others where their players in position, and they whiffed. They're like a Major League Baseball player trying to hit a home run. It was pathetic. Out of position, bad tackling, ghost tackling, where you're kind of giving the appearance that you know what you're doing, but you don't really seem to know what you're doing. There's no way that anyone averages 9.8 yards per rush attempt without an assist by incompetent defensive players. And this is one of those moments, I just do an overnight show. What do I know? But if I owned the Rams, I would demand someone loses their job after that performance. It was that bad a performance. I would fire someone if I owned the Rams, and they played like that. And that's my team. I'd say that's such a pathetic. What are you doing at practice? What are you watching cartoons at practice? The way the Rams went out there and played? My God. It was so pathetic. Now, Barkley averaged 9.8 yards per carry. He had 142 on those 2 long touchdown runs for Philadelphia. So I did some Maller math here. And even without that, Barkley still had the other carries, if my math is correct here. He had 113 yards on the other 24 carries. So that works out, my computer-like brain tells me, to 4.7 yards per rush attempt outside of the 2 ridiculously long touchdown runs for the Eagles. It was a masterpiece performance with an assist by some incompetent Ram defensive players. It was pathetic. My God, what were they doing? Now, page 2 here. So just from the Philadelphia side of things here, from the Philadelphia side, how much ground, if any, did Saquon Barkley make up in terms of the MVP race? Did he make up any ground here? So Barkley took advantage of the island life. He definitely took advantage of the island life. That, without a doubt here. 100% he took advantage of it. Now, did he gain any ground? It's week 12, right? It's week 12 of the NFL season. Here's the way I look at it. He's still on the outside looking in terms of the MVP race. However, Barkley did everything in his power. He's on the prowl. Barkley's on the prowl there. He's bird dogging the usual suspects who are the quarterbacks. And if you look around at the very top of the MVP, and we talked about this on the TV show over the weekend, it's wide open, like down the stretch. It's going to be a photo finish for the most valuable player award. But the popular pick by popular people for the NFL MVP award, Lamar Jackson, he fell off, losing to Pittsburgh his last game. But Baltimore plays on Monday night, so we'll see what happens with that. But you've got Jared Goff, who did not throw a touchdown in the Lions' win against the Colts. He also had a game where he had 5 interceptions and the Lions won. Does that sound like an MVP to you? And then you've got Josh Allen and the Buffalo Bills, who did not play. And so those are the guys, and we'll see what happens. But one thing Saquon Barkley has done, without a wink, just without any kind of doubt here, Barkley has twisted the machete into the wound of the Giants. He has Big Blue, his old team, fell behind 30-0. And if you talk about one clip of video that will live on for a very long time, that clip from the Hard Knocks offseason when the Giants GM is explaining why he doesn't want Barkley and why this doesn't make a lot of sense, and they're talking about that in the get-together with the owner, that clip will haunt him when he's fired. There are reports that the Giants are considering firing Brian Dable, and we'll talk more about that later, early on Monday. But we'll see. It's Thanksgiving week. You can't fire a coach Thanksgiving week. You want to bet? The way the Giants played, the players pretty much took care of that. But Saquon Barkley adding to that, because the Giants fell behind 30-0 in their game against Tampa at home with Tommy Cutlets. That went out very well, very well. So he's haunting Saquon Barkley, the front office there with the Giants. Now, last word. Let's go thumbs up or thumbs down. Thumbs up or thumbs down. Are Jalen Hurts' Eagles a legit threat? A legit threat to the mighty Lions in the NFC? And the answer is obviously a thumbs up. I think I'm going to say this after they just smoked the Rams, that the Philadelphia football team is not a legit threat. And if you look at this from a horse racing perspective, imagine, if you will, you're sitting there at majestic Churchill Downs, the iconic track, and you're looking out and you're saying, well, let's handicap the field here. On the NFC half of the aisle, on that half of the aisle, it is 2 teams. That's it. We got 2. That's all we have is 2. And then there were 2. That's it. As we prepare for the stretch run of the NFL season, now most games done in Week 12 and Thanksgiving, which is normally a mark. Right? It's the last couple of games before we head into December, and then we're really getting going because the playoffs come around in January. But it's a 2-horse race. And if you look around the NFC, there's nobody else I take seriously. I don't take Green Bay seriously. I don't. Minnesota's trying to sell me Sam Darnold. I don't buy that. I'm not buying Sam Darnold. You can buy Sam Darnold. Buy 2. I don't want Sam Darnold. Don't want him at all. Seattle, Geno Smith, are you bloody kidding me? Come on, what's wrong with you? Forget about that. Atlanta, no thanks. So there's nobody else. Now, injuries and the war of attrition, as it's called, will obviously play a factor in all of this. However, right, I mean, you look around and it's the Lions are 1A, and then a couple steps back is Philadelphia. Couple steps back. But on one given playoff game, if those teams meet in the NFC Championship game, let's say, on a random Sunday afternoon in Michigan, it's a toss-up. It would be a toss-up.